The little girl stood alone in the crowded hospital hallway, clutching a worn-out stuffed rabbit against her chest. Her eyes searched every face that passed by, hoping to find the one person she trusted most in the world. Then she finally saw him. Her father. His shirt was stained with engine oil. His face carried the exhaustion of a man who had not slept properly in years. Yet the moment he saw his daughter, he dropped everything and ran toward her. What happened next would change not only their lives but also the life of one of the most powerful women in the city. And when that woman later told him, "My father said you needed a wife," his answer left her completely speechless. Before we begin this emotional journey, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe kindness, loyalty, and second chances can change a person's life. Your support helps bring more heartfelt stories like this to people around the world. The story begins on a rainy autumn evening in a city where thousands of people rushed through life without ever noticing each other. Among them was Ethan Carter, a 34-year-old single father whose life revolved around exactly one person. His daughter, Lily. 5 years earlier, Ethan's world had shattered when his wife passed away unexpectedly after a sudden illness. One moment they had been planning family vacations and discussing Lily's first day of school. The next, he was standing in a hospital room trying to understand how a healthy young woman could disappear from his life forever. Grief arrived like a storm. At first, Ethan thought he would never survive it. Every room in their small apartment reminded him of her. Every photograph felt like a knife turning slowly inside his heart. Some nights he sat alone after Lily fell asleep and stared at old pictures until sunrise. But life offered him no time to collapse. There was a little girl depending on him. So he woke up every morning, packed lunches, tied shoelaces, helped with homework, worked overtime, cooked dinner, cleaned the apartment, paid bills, and somehow found enough energy to smile whenever Lily looked at him. The smile was often fake. But the love behind it was real. Years passed. While other parents attended school events together, Ethan sat alone. While couples held hands in parks, he pushed Lily on swings. While friends encouraged him to date again, he politely changed the subject. His heart belonged to memories he wasn't ready to release. Life became routine. Difficult. Lonely. Yet meaningful. Everything changed the day he met Victoria Reynolds. Victoria was the CEO of one of the largest technology companies in the state. At 32 years old, she was admired by investors, respected by competitors, and feared in boardrooms. People described her as brilliant. They also described her as impossible to impress. She lived in a world of luxury, success, and endless responsibility. The last thing she expected was for a single father to challenge everything she believed about life. Their first meeting happened by accident. Ethan's aging truck broke down near one of Victoria's corporate offices. Unable to afford expensive repairs, he spent his lunch break trying to fix it himself. Victoria happened to be leaving a meeting when she noticed him struggling beneath the hood. Most executives would have walked away. For some reason, she didn't. Perhaps it was curiosity. Perhaps fate. She watched as Ethan worked carefully despite obvious exhaustion. Then she noticed something else. A child's drawing taped inside the truck window. A picture of a father holding hands with a little girl. Across the top were the words, "My hero." Victoria stared at the drawing longer than she intended. She had spent years building companies. Yet nobody had ever called her a hero. A strange feeling settled in her chest. She didn't understand it. Neither did Ethan when he noticed her standing nearby. Their conversation lasted less than 3 minutes. Yet something about it stayed with both of them. Victoria saw kindness. Ethan saw humility hidden beneath confidence. Then they went their separate ways. Or so they thought. Several weeks later, Lily's school announced a charity fundraiser. Parents, local businesses, and community leaders were invited to participate. Victoria attended as a corporate sponsor. Ethan attended as a father. Neither expected to see the other again. The event changed everything. Throughout the afternoon, Victoria observed Ethan interacting with Lily. She watched him cheer louder than anyone during children's games. She watched him help nervous students perform on stage. She watched him give away his own meal when another child accidentally dropped theirs. Every action seemed natural. Effortless. Genuine. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He simply cared. The realization unsettled Victoria. She had spent years meeting influential people. Powerful people. Successful people. But very few good people. As the event ended, she found herself searching for him in the crowd. Not because she needed something. Because she wanted to understand him. That curiosity slowly grew into friendship. Friendship grew into trust. Trust grew into something neither wanted to name. Months passed. Coffee conversations became regular. Community projects brought them together. Lily quickly adored Victoria. For the first time in years, Ethan found himself laughing more often. For the first time in years, Victoria found herself slowing down long enough to enjoy simple moments. But happiness often arrives carrying fear. Ethan feared moving on from his past. Victoria feared opening her heart. Both carried wounds invisible to everyone else. One evening, after a charity banquet, Victoria's father invited Ethan to dinner. Richard Reynolds was a respected businessman known for reading people better than financial reports. After spending several hours with Ethan and Lily, he formed an opinion. A very strong opinion. Several days later, Victoria visited Ethan at a community center where he volunteered. The conversation that followed would become unforgettable. After discussing ordinary topics, she hesitated. Then she smiled nervously. A rare sight. My father said you needed a wife. The word surprised Ethan. For a moment he simply stared at her. Then he looked toward the playground where Lily was laughing with friends. His expression softened. When he finally answered, his voice carried years of love, pain, sacrifice, and hope. He said that he didn't need a wife. He needed someone who could love his daughter without feeling obligated. Someone who would stay when life became difficult. Someone who understood that hearts broken by loss heal slowly. Someone who valued family more than appearances. Someone who believed ordinary moments mattered more than grand promises. And if he ever found a person like that, he wouldn't ask her to replace the woman he lost. He would ask her to help build a new chapter. A chapter filled with honesty. Respect. Patience. And love. Victoria couldn't speak. No one had ever answered a question like that before. Most people discussed relationships in terms of attraction or convenience. Ethan spoke about commitment. Character. Family. Purpose. For the first time in years, Victoria felt tears gathering in her eyes. Not because she was sad. Because she suddenly understood what genuine love looked like. The months that followed transformed both of them. Walls began falling. Fear began fading. Trust deepened. Lily's laughter filled spaces once occupied by silence. Victoria learned that success meant little if nobody shared it with you. Ethan learned that moving forward did not mean forgetting the past. It meant honoring it while embracing the future. Eventually, their friendship evolved into something undeniable. Not a dramatic romance. Not a fairy tale. Something stronger. A partnership built on respect, patience, and understanding. The day Ethan proposed was simple. No cameras. No grand audience. Just 3 people sitting beneath a sunset. A father. A daughter. And a woman who had become family long before she realized it. Lily cried first. Victoria cried second. Ethan followed shortly after. Years later, people often asked how a powerful CEO and a struggling single father ended up together. They usually expected an extraordinary answer. Instead, Victoria always smiled and said the same thing. She met a man who loved his daughter more than himself. And that told her everything she needed to know. Their story became proof that kindness still matters. That loyalty still matters. That second chances still matter. Most importantly, it proved that healing doesn't happen because life becomes easier. Healing happens because people choose hope despite hardship. Before this story ends, leave a comment and tell us, what was the most emotional moment for you? If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support allows these stories of hope, love, family, and second chances to reach more people around the world. And one more thing before you go, tell us in the comments which country you're watching from. We'd love to know how far this story has traveled and which parts of the world are sharing this journey with us today. Thank you for watching, and may kindness always find its way back to you.